Alec Murdaugh is headed to prison for the rest of his life. That was the decision in a sentencing hearing that only lasted about 30 minutes this morning, only 15 hours after he was convicted of murder. News 3's Andrew Davis was in the courtroom for the 29th and last day of his trial. He has a wrap-up from Walterboro.
Alec Murdaugh's defense team says it was a bad investigation. The prosecution said the jury made the right decision, but both sides now know that Alec Murdaugh is headed to prison. 2 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole.
Oh, what tangle web we weave. What did you mean by that?
It meant when I lied, I continue to lie.
And the question is, when will it end?
Judge Clifton Newman laid out Alec's sentence while he stood in shackles and a jail jumpsuit in the Colleton County courtroom. It's in front of his sister, brother John Marvin, his son Buster. Alec once again professed his innocence.
I respect this court, but I'm innocent. I would never, under any circumstances, hurt my wife Maggie, and I would never, under any circumstances, hurt my son Pawpaw.
After the hearing, his defense team echoed that, saying that the prosecution never proved its case.
They won this case the day the judge bought into letting them put every piece of, stealing from kids who lost their mother, from somebody with pancreatic cancer, somebody that's a paraplegic. I mean, all of that 2.5 weeks, by the time they got done with it, it didn't matter about final argument. It didn't matter about what we put up. They would never, ever, ever acquit him after that.
The family came to trial every day for 6 weeks, expecting to hear proof positive that he killed Maggie and Paul, something that they had not heard before. After 6 weeks of trial, they came away more convinced that he did not do this.
In an exclusive interview with News 3, South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson and prosecutor Creighton Waters said it was a team effort to make this happen, to make sure the jurors heard the message they were putting out there, that Alec Murdaugh wasn't just a liar and a criminal, he was a murderer as well.
And I'm thinking to myself, these jurors are sitting there. If my wife and son are brutally murdered 2 minutes after I leave the house, and I'm going to be saying, why didn't I stay? Why wasn't I there? If only. Yeah. And he never said that.
It's such a long process that I felt comfortable with leaving it in the jury's hands. Trial lawyers can be pretty superstitious. I don't like to think about the verdict, talk about the verdict, or anything like that. But I knew that I and the team, we had looked those jury in the eye. I knew Alec had done the same thing, and I felt confident that they would know that he had lied to them when he did that, and that would be a deciding factor.
Murdaugh will now spend 45 days in mental and physical evaluation at the Kirkland Correctional Facility in Columbia before being transferred to a maximum security prison someplace in South Carolina. His defense team has vowed to go ahead and appeal this case immediately. That's the 10 days after the trial itself. Andrew Davis, WSAV News 3, on your side.